Brought to you by IOCO, Africa's leading integrated technology services company. It's time for Tech Talk. Now, Urban Company, a group which connects consumers with professionals for all things cleaning, repairs, maintenance, beauty, wellness, treatments, and more, has debuted on the Indian Stock Exchange. The Naspers-backed company shot the lights out with its IPO. And Business Day's Mudiwa Gavaza joins us with more detail. Mudiwa, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. Now, last year, right, we saw Swiggy making headlines after its listing in India, and most recently, here we are with Urban Company doing the same. Before we get into Urban Company's IPO, maybe just put into perspective Naspers' plans when it comes to that Indian division and the spinning off of those companies and where we're at the moment.
India accounts for roughly 20% of Naspers' portfolio globally. That's the way that they contextualize it to us. If you were to look at the fact that they have invested $8.6 billion into that particular economy, if you do your rough back of the napkin calculation, that sits you at around, let's call it 130, 140 billion rand that they have poured into India over the years. And that's been over, I believe, almost 20 years that they've been investing in that part of the world. So it's big for them. Obviously, they've had the success with Tencent in China. And right now, if you look at, what's the most populous country in the world, I believe India has now edged out China. I need to check on some of those metrics. So you're looking at them saying we're an emerging market player, and we're going to have a strong presence in some of the main emerging markets, hence them, having a presence in China, in India, in Brazil, and, some of these places. So India is really big for them. They're quite bullish on it. And a lot of the deal activity that we've been seeing in terms of listing, unlocking value, etc., has been coming, a lot of it has been coming from the Indian market. So very, very important market for them. They have a couple of businesses that are actually in the pipeline. I've had opportunity to actually go and see a couple of these businesses. I remember we visited Swiggy, for example, to see what they did. We actually even visited Urban Company to see what the type of operation that they have. Another business which is also slated for listing in India is a business called PayU. And then there's one that I'm just forgetting off the top of my head right now, but there is a strong pipeline that they have, and I guess they just look, because there's also difference as well. Certain companies, they have control, right? In certain companies like Urban Company, you're a 7% shareholder, so they're a top shareholder, they're a top 3 shareholder, but in terms of influencing when the listing is going to happen, you have less of a say. It's more of a team effort with the rest of your investors as well as the board.
And let's look at that that IPO. It seems like it's highlighted investor appetite for these tech-enabled home services platforms.
Yeah. So what's interesting, I was talking to the head of Process Ventures yesterday, and he was actually saying, because I said to him, what was the valuation like for this thing? Because pre-IPO, you're looking at a roughly $1.8 billion valuation being placed on this business. After yesterday's, blockbuster IPO, you're sitting close to $3 billion. So they did really well. Like, it was a really great day for them, I believe. At its peak, I think the share price was up 74%, somewhere there. So it was really a really strong day for them in the market. But he actually said that right now, if you're an investor and you're bullish on this particular market, right, there's no one else if you're investing in India. There are a couple of companies around the world here and there, but probably right now, Urban Company is probably one of the biggest companies that's offering this type of service. When we wrote yesterday, I made a note so that to relate it to South Africa, because urban companies basically sweep south, but bigger.
And once I read your article, I was like shocked. Like I was shocked because I didn't know that Sweep South actually offers other services besides the cleaning services.
So when you look at, I remember when I first went to visit Urban Company, right? I then understood what Aisha Pando was trying to do with Sweep South, like the vision down the line, because we've seen some interesting acquisitions that Aisha and her team have been able to have made recently, right? They started out in South Africa with cleaning services. Then they bought a business in Egypt that was meant to augment some of their services around beauty and that type of thing, right? Now in South Africa, when you look at Sweep South, you've got the normal cleaning that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I believe you've also got cleaning of businesses, and then you've got some of the beauty offerings that are there, and then I think the other one, they also do some pet care as well, right? So they've been able to diversify. However, when you then contrast it to Urban Company is doing everything that I've just stated, right? They've got the cleaning, that's one area. Then they've got appliance repair. So India's a hot country. So repairs for air conditioning.
I was thinking fans. That was the first thing that came to mind.
So repairs for air conditioning, refrigeration, it's a big market, right? And then you've also got, you've also got the beauty side of things. They can come to your house, you can have a haircut, you can have your hair done, you can have
They're
nails.
also selling convenience.
Yes, but all of it is standardized because they have an academy. Because when you're looking at things like getting your hair done, when you're looking at cleaning, when you're looking at repairs, right? How do you standardize something like that? So they've invested a lot in training academies.
Okay.
I've seen some of these training academies. Imagine they create like a dirty room or a dirty bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And you have to clean.
Yeah, up to a certain standard.
Okay.
So, and then you have certifications, because once again, India is a huge country. You've got 48,000 professionals on your platform, and you must be able to have a uniform experience. Someone gets a haircut in Delhi, that's the same experience that they must get in Mumbai, right? That you must have the same experience, or at least close to as much as possible.
All right, and just back to Sweep South, Mudiwa. Do you see Sweep South potentially following a similar path in local markets? And perhaps let's look at the kind of lessons a Sweep South could learn from an urban company.
There are a couple. I remember recently, I'm just forgetting the name of the business. I believe it's called Fix It. I would have to check. But I remember engaging with the founder of that business. He's created a platform where you can have mechanics.
Okay.
I
think it is Fix It.
Yeah. Same model as Sweep South, where you're looking for people that can fix or repair your car, etc. You go online onto this platform, and you can find professionals, that are there. So what Sweep South has done around cleaning services and that type of thing, it can actually be extended, elsewhere. Urban Company shows us that. Now, what I'm a bit hesitant about in South Africa is the nature of the market, right? Is whether Sweep South would be able, to get all of these different services onto that one platform, right? Or whether their platform, because it's literally called Sweep South, right? You'd have to have a complete rebrand to make sure that it's a little bit more neutral around the type of services that you offer. That's one. And two, a lot of the time, these professional type of services that we're talking about, think your plumbing, appliance repairs, etc., people have tended to operate independently. They have their own clients. They have, a certain plumber will know that in this part of town or in this city, in this town, these are my people, and they become the go-to people. You tend to go to, back in the day, you'd go to the yellow pages, right?
We're revealing our age.
Yeah, to go find these people. Now you can go, onto Facebook, onto social media, just Google, and you find them. So what I wonder about is whether they'll be able to replicate those types of things, because that's what Urban Company has been able to do. It's been able to take people that are cleaning, people that are doing nails, people that are doing plumbing, people that are doing haircuts, and put them all onto this one platform, come up with a curriculum where a person can actually come in and have training, so that you are being trained up to a certain level, you have certification. So those are some of the things that would have to be done locally, right? But the banding together, I just wonder about it, because the last part is what's called disintermediation.
Okay.
Huge risk. You go onto one of these platforms, you find someone to do your hair. What's the natural thing that happens after that, right? You take the platform out of the equation. You just
go to that person.
Yeah.
Risks. All right, let's leave it there, Mudiwa. We could talk forever. Thank you so much for your time and just taking us through that IPO and, the intricacies of how it also matches up with what we're seeing here at home with Sweep South. Now, that was Business Days Mudiwa Gavaza. Brought to you by IOCO, Africa's leading integrated technology services company.